Welcome to That's Canon, the podcast talking about the Canon film series and other similar movies. This is episode 60, and I'm Phil.
And I'm Greg. And Phil, tell me something I think is wrong. So we were out in the back garden yesterday doing some weeding, and a snake, like a little garden snake, bit me like right in the hand, and it really hurts. My hand is starting to make all this weird. It's like getting all gross and weird looking. Is that normal?
Do you have it bandaged up for 87 minutes of the of the runtime?
Yeah, there's some really like bizarrely clean bandages too. And
When you
it's starting to make like hissing noises.
and then when you open it up, it looks like fucking diarrhea shit coming out, right?
Yeah. And then the diarrhea jumps out and then bites Becky on the face. Is that normal?
That is definitely, it's normal if you live in Curse 2 land. Is that absurd? I mean, I expected it, right? B movie. You're not going to see the snake, quote unquote, that often. But Jackie and I found it really odd that anytime that they fixated on the hand, it looked like straight up baby shit.
It looked like, yeah, it looked like diarrhea, or like a hawk of bacon covered in diarrhea.
I don't know. It was this definitely, I think we got super excited based off the premise of Curse to the Bite.
That's what we're talking about this week.
And I don't know about you, but we honey dicked ourselves, I believe. Because when you hear the tagline of, or the byline of, after being bitten by a radioactive snake, a young man begins to spawn snake-like creatures with vicious, murderous nature, you don't expect that last part to be literally the last part of the movie.
Yeah, I will agree that we got kind of bait and switched on purely like weird cursed snake hand action, but we had a really good time watching this. I got Becky to watch this with me last night, and we were laughing a lot. I think that what this lacks in funny, like gross out kills, it makes up for with bad acting, bizarre dialogue, bizarre situations, and just other like things in B movies that you like to see in your B movies. Things that make B movies funny bad.
I I 100% agree with you. And in fact, when I was watching it, I was like, why isn't Jamie Farr's character Klinger from MASH? And this could be like the continuing adventures of Klinger, because he has like, and we'll get into it, but he has like some kind of like medical training for no apparent reason. It doesn't really like tie into Jamie Farr's character in it. And I was like, if he was Klinger, he could have just offhandedly said, like, hey, I learned this from Hawkeye or BJ Honeycutt or something like that. And I would have been
Wink,
like, I
wink.
buy that. I
Yeah.
totally buy what he's doing. But it's just, yeah, it was so weird.
Oh yeah. Tons of like, wait, what kinds of reactions in a fun way. Um,
And
yeah.
multiple times we paused the movie because Jackie was like, I don't understand what they're trying to say. I don't get the dialogue that they're saying because it just doesn't make any sense.
It's just words. It's like
It
that.
is words.
It's just word. Like it reminds me of, like when you have a dream and people are talking and like they're saying words, but it doesn't make any sense, and you don't remember it after they've done talking, and you wake up. That's what a lot of the dialogue in this movie is like.
Oh, 100%.
It's completely incoherent, but it's like, honestly, I'm astounded that this movie, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just missed it, but like this movie seems like ripe for like an MST3K. Like I'm amazed that they didn't do that, because they did a couple movies from like late 80s, early 90s, right around the time that they were doing the show. I'm amazed, like this kind of like straight to video creature feature. There's just like so much ammunition for them to pull off. I'm
A
amazed that they
thousand,
didn't do it.
1,000% agree with you there. 1,000%. This
Right.
is,
But we'll do the best we can. If they didn't give the MST3K treatment, we'll do the best we can with this episode.
did you think, because the reason that we're watching this is J. Eddie Peck was in Dangerously Close.
Right. Our last episode, he was main character Danny, right? Was his name, I
Danny.
think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, I saw this movie in his profile. We got to watch it. I thought that he looked nothing like him in Dangerously Close.
Oh
It
yeah,
what the fuck happened?
not even close. Like so, Dangerously Close was 86. This came out in 89 summer, I think. So it was probably shot like I don't know the couple like a year prior or something like that. But you're right, he looks totally different. Like in Dangerously Close, he's like this skinny beanpole nerd AV club kind of dude. In Curse to the Bite, he's like super ripped and tan. He's got like long late 80s like hunk hair. He looks nothing like and behaves nothing like he did in Dangerously Close.
Exactly. And that I was I was like, man, I fucked up.
I almost didn't think it was the same character, but like he's got really distinctive like eyes and eyebrows.
Yep.
Like that's what pegged it. But yeah, I mean, I guess kudos to him for an impressive body transformation, I guess.
It's definitely something. I will say that. But yeah, I mean, there was a quick moment where I thought I messed up and I clicked on like the wrong
It was
IMDb profile or
a
something
different
like
guy
that.
with the same name,
Yeah.
different
Uh
middle initial or something.
J. Eddie Peck, he will be back. We will watch one other movie with him. He is in the movie Lambada,
Right.
which
Some
came out in
weird dancing
1990.
movie.
Yeah,
Right.
it is near the end of the canon life
And
cycle.
if that title is anything the indication, it's there. They went out with a whimper.
Exactly. Curse 2 is directed by Federico Prosperi, so it's kind of like an Italian film. This guy only has one other credit to his name, and it's called The Wild Beasts, which it sounds kind of like the same thing, except not. It's the water supply for a large city zoo becomes contaminated with PCP, and the animals go crazy and get loose,
That sounds amazing.
right?
A bunch of like animals hopped up on angel dust.
I I
Oh my
like
god.
the street name probably because of Exterminator too. But yeah, it's another one where like you just hear the tagline, the byline for it, and
It
you're like,
sounds
that's
cool.
exactly.
But
Maybe one
you're
day Vinegar Syndrome will come out with it.
yeah, that seems up their alley. And again, that like these kind of like I don't know, maybe this was like a late 80s, early 90s thing, but I feel like there are a lot of these like straight to video like action horror thriller like creature feature movies. Was that just like a popular genre then?
I think so. Probably low budget, right? You get them out in the movie theater pretty cheap, and then they go to cable, and that's where they live.
Yeah.
That USA channel, Saturday
Sci-Fi channel,
afternoon,
got to get
sci-fi.
something on.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
There used to be this TV show at back in Central Florida. It was kind of like a Joe Bob Briggs type thing. It
Mhm.
it was these radio people also had a TV show. It was called The Monsters of the Midday, and they would show monster movies like this, just like the schlockiest shit that they could find, and
Oh
just
yeah,
yeah,
license on the cheap to show. Did they were they doing
exactly.
commentary or anything, or is it just they were like a horror host kind of
Kind of
thing?
like a horror host kind of thing. They'd talk before it, and then they make jokes and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
back it down. So was that like Central Florida Public Access that they were showing that on?
it was on like the WGN because like WGN's weird in that they're from Chicago, but like a lot of their content during the day is local television crap.
Hmm.
WGN only kicks in when it's like a Cubs game. Really weird. I don't know. Uh
Oddly specific, but that's kind of cool. I feel like these kind of B movies are like that's like their niche is for local hosted shows like that or
exactly.
MST3K.
MS, yep. The film also stars Jill Sholin. She plays the love interest in the movie. Lisa, this she has been in a ton of horror movies. Chiller, The Stepfather, Cutting Class, which is a Vinegar Syndrome release that also stars Brad Pitt. The Phantom of the
Mm.
Opera with Robert England, and When a Stranger Calls Back, the sequel to When a Stranger Calls.
Because that's what that movie needed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What more can we say about When a Stranger Calls?
I'm amazed to hear that she's gotten a lot of work. I don't know. I try not to bash on people too much, but she was easily like the worst of the actors in this movie.
I 100% agree. Um, and I do find it odd because usually like scream queens, unless you're like Jamie Lee Curtis, the reason why you're a scream queen is probably because you're, kind of like Linnea Quigley. You're showing a little skin, right? And that kind of makes up for your lack of acting ability, but
Yeah.
she did not do that. So her it was just a little more like
Yeah, it's not so. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of surprised that she did more horror movies because she doesn't seem like she has like a scream queen kind of niche
right. Yeah, she doesn't have like
nailed
that
down.
attitude or that edge. The movie opens up. I've never heard of this company, and immediately I was like, this is what we're in for. Trans World Entertainment. Never
No,
fucking heard of that company
never
before.
heard of it. But wow, the jingle and like the graphic is maybe the most 80s thing ever.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And if you look at their filmography of what they've made, there is Maniac Cop. I don't know how we've missed
Really?
that inside of it. Yeah.
Huh.
But they have a lot of schlock shit. A lot. If you go to Wikipedia and you put the word ninja in there, it shows up 171 times.
Really?
Yes. So that kind of shows you what kind of crap they were making. But to note, a lot of them, it says like Ninja the Protector, and then there's like the notes
Interesting.
for it. Ninja Theater hosted by Sho Kasugi, a
No
fucking
shit.
canon prince himself.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's actually kind of so this is a little more closely tied to canon than our usual like in similar movies episodes. This actually
exactly.
I mean it almost sounds like a canon company itself with all like if it's like found a niche and straight to video kind of like low budget action horror thriller kinds of stuff.
I am super interested to see if I can find some of this stuff because I guess this is like the Joe Bob Briggs of ninja stuff where Sho Kasugi is essentially
Hosting Ninja.
introducing and commenting on ninja related movies.
That is amazing. Way to go, dude.
Yes,
Way to like keep your hands around that job making and doing ninja stuff.
exactly. Absolutely amazing. The As the intro credits is rolling, the fucking music in it totally reminds me of Jason Goes to Hell, where it's like we're in the early 90s, super late 80s. We've somehow dropped orchestra type music. We haven't moved over to the soundtrack era. We're just in this weird, crappy synth
Yeah.
moment.
It's I know exactly what you're talking about. And I bet everyone listening can do kind of like not visualize, but like they know the kind of music we're talking about where it's like it's still synthesized. Like all the stuff in like the 80s movies, a lot of them were had synth scores, but they were like obviously synthesized like sine wave kind of like tones almost. It's hard to describe. I'm not a sound guy. But like there's this period of time in the late 80s, early 90s where they tried to synthesize real instruments as opposed to you know what I mean? Like and
Yeah,
it just sounds worse than if they just did like a kind of like electro soundtrack like they did earlier in the 80s.
it's horrible. It's
Yeah.
absolutely horrible.
Yeah, just like imagine like the worst MIDI cover of a popular song. Like that's what these movies all sounded like, and it's
100%.
it's charming now, but
It's
it's
a MIDI. Exactly.
yep.
It's a fucking early 90s website. Um
It's the background. Yeah, it's the background MIDI to like early GeoCities.
as we open up, we're at the Yellow Sands Desert in Arizona, and there's two guys dressed in contamination suits, one holding an empty keg as they are picking up snakes and like just like dropping on them in there. I thought it was weird that now it wasn't weird in the moment when you see them do that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's weird that they never do anything like that again. The whole like scientist angle which was in the first 52 seconds of the film, is immediately dropped and never
Yeah,
commented on again.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I thought there was gonna be more because as soon as you see that opening shot, you think, oh, okay, here's that's the central premise. There's like some kind of like radioactive, or some kind of government experiment that somehow infected these snakes, and that's one of these snakes is gonna get out and turn a guy into a snake, Spider-Man style, something like that. But we never see these guys in hazmat suits. We never see like covert government agents chasing people down. Like it goes nowhere. It's never talked about again.
Yep. In
What a
fact,
missed opportunity.
we cut immediately to our main characters, Clark and Lisa, and they're driving down the desert highway. They're trying to get to Tennessee.
California?
I thought they were going the other way. I thought they were going to like Tennessee or something like that.
Oh
Their
fuck, I don't know.
their ultimate goal is to play music somewhere. Lisa is a like singer-songwriter, and I guess Clark is just there, right?
For
Because you
moral
don't really
support?
see him do anything.
No, honestly, their whole like a lot of the movie takes place as like it's almost like it's practically a road trip movie, honestly, because
Yeah,
they're in the car on the highway so much. But their destination and origin were always very fuzzy to me.
exactly. They pull into a gas station, and then there's a stereotypical hit. He's like, "You got a pretty lady." Um,
Ding.
exactly. He's got like a mouthful of skull.
Did
Uh,
you notice though? Like he's 100% like got like a whole like lip full of chewing tobacco, but his teeth were like weirdly pearly white and perfect.
yep,
Way
exactly.
way more so than someone who's dipping that hard would have.
Fucking take some smashed up Oreos, rub them on your teeth, get a little character in
Oh,
there, right?
I'm pretty sure the accent was fake too because it sounded really like stereotypical, too much so.
Don't worry, we're gonna talk about accents when we get to a certain part of the film.
Oh hell yeah,
Uh,
bork bork bork.
exactly. Clark is asking how the quickest way to get to their rest stop. And he's like, "Can we just go straight through Yellow Sands?" And the guy's like, "Well, you don't want to go through there. It's dangerous." And despite
Yeah.
this guy probably being a really good source of information, Clark is like, "Fuck it. We're going to do it."
Fuck you, stupid hick. I'm gonna drive down that goddamn radioactive highway if it kills me.
Exactly.
Like
Unfortunately,
this idiot does not know a harbinger of doom when he sees one.
exactly. Like I would take the advice of the locals
Right?
over my intuition of getting saving an hour. I think he was like, it's an hour shorter.
Yeah, exactly. Like how many Phil, how many like horror movies or monster movies would like not even happen if they if the city slickers who didn't know where the hell they were just listened to the locals and like didn't go down that road or down to that town.
I will say that the first girl on Friday the 13th would have survived.
Right?
She immediately gets her neck slit after she gets dropped off. You're an
Yes.
American original.
Oh my god. Seriously, just listen to the local, listen to the
Yeah,
scary guys who are saying don't go down there. You will
just
die.
you will die, and that they will as we pan across the Yellow Sands highway. The road is just filled with snakes, like legitimate snakes. It makes me
Yeah.
wonder how they found so many. Like the this budget couldn't have been that big. So do you I don't know. I've never been down like a desolated desert highway before.
Yeah, I've never driven in that part of the country, but you're right. Like this, we're talking because there's this after we get to the gas station, they kind of like continue with the credits, and we get these shots of like yeah, like you said, hundreds of snakes like slithering around a chain link fence, and I feel like half of the budget must have gone to just like the army of snake handlers that they got to do this.
Snakes and anti-venom. Probably. I'm just guessing. We do see that Screaming Mad George does some of the special effects in this. Screaming Mad George often works with Brian Usna of Reanimator fame, but he's also
Hmm.
done effects for Big Trouble in Little China, Predator, Nightmare on Elm Street. So definitely an interesting guy. I didn't
Yeah,
know Screaming Mad George is Japanese.
really.
Yeah, his name is Joji Tani. He's he's the director of the movie The Guyver. starring Mark Hamill. Have you ever heard of that movie?
No.
I'm not going to spoil it for you. The poster though, it says Mark Hamill, and then it has a half, it does like the half of the helmet of the Guyver, and the other half is Mark Hamill's face, and then it says the Guyver. So you're thinking like, okay, Mark Hamill's the Guyver. He's not. The fucking poster is the biggest fucking lie. I remember seeing this again. Here we go. USA Channel, and like seeing the ad for it in the TV guide going, "Oh my god. Like fucking Luke Skywalker is a superhero." And I come to find out he's just a cop in the movie.
What a bait and
Anyways,
switch.
I know.
Oh
Oh,
man.
100%. Um
Oh,
anyway, go
before
ahead.
we get off of Screaming Mad George, when I looked him up, I wish I'd looked at a picture of him if I'd known, but like he apparently did special effects for Freaked too.
Oh, really? How did I miss that?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Freaked.
Becky and I looked at when we were watching last night. Because actually Becky, you spotted the names like, wait, like we've seen that before. And that's when we like just realized all he did. Like he's a big name
Yeah,
in special visual effects. But yeah, apparently Freaked was on there. So he our one of the weird first movie that we watched together.
love it. Absolutely love Freaked. Release the freaks.
Release the
Uh
freaks.
Eventually, Clark and Jill, they get a flat tire, and you can immediately tell Clark doesn't know how to change a tire because he's on an uneven incline and he's about to jack this fucking car up. That car is going to fall on him and destroy him so quickly. Uh,
And that's the end of the movie.
that's the end of the movie. Yeah. Unfortunately, a snake, unbeknownst to Clark and Jill, has entered their Jeep Caravan. And there's like, they have like canaries, they have like a bird cage, right? And I would have bet dollars to donuts that the snakes, or eventually the radioactive snake or mutant snake, would have eaten those, and like we would have seen it.
Yeah,
But
because we get
unfortunately not.
like when they're working on a car, he's changing the flat. Like we get like snake cam, like POV snake cam, like
Like
slithering through the back.
Tremors.
Yeah, exactly like Tremors. I thought for sure that we were going to see it kind of like jump towards the cage, and then we'd cut to them reacting to like the sound of the cage getting rattled.
Exactly. No, but we
But
do
no,
get Jill going out into the desert, popping a squat, and then Clark blowing up a snake right next to her.
seriously. So she's like out there taking a pee, and she like screams because there's a giant snake next to her, and he pulls out this like huge ass sniper rifle
Yeah,
looking thing, and he like without even hesitating, he just blows this snake away. He's like a foot away from his girlfriend. He could have so easily just like accidentally shot her in the face.
1,000%. It was
What an
so
idiot.
funny. It was so funny. Then we get, again, it's a B movie, but we get this excruciating moment. It's probably only a minute, but it felt like five, where we have to listen to Jill fucking sing a shitty song. But
Oh
luckily,
yeah.
it's immediately cut to them running over, I really hope, pieces of rubber that are supposed to be snakes on the road.
They definitely were like I actually paused it and rewound it because yeah, like they get to the spot in the road and it's just like covered in snakes and they're not paying attention because they're singing some stupid song, but it's just like carpeted fake snakes and they just like blast right through it at highway speed. Didn't even
But
slow down, but
what's
they're
in,
like bouncing all over the place.
they're bouncing all over the place. In this moment lasts for probably 2 minutes. Clark is never looking at the road. He's just always like looking down. His head's out the window,
That's
Ace
right.
Ventura style, just looking at everything that they're running over.
Like looking backwards too. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, those snakes are just spread over
And like Jill seems so concerned that somehow the snakes are going to fuck up the car. But it's
and
like
get
they're
in.
snakes.
What are they
Just
gonna
roll up the
do?
window and just keep fucking running over them.
They're not like birds. I mean, they're not gonna like jump off the pavement into your window to bite your face.
Yeah. It was just, again, another like B movie moment, right? Where it's just, here's some strife that really doesn't matter.
Just throw a bunch of rubber snakes on the pavement. That's weird and creepy, right?
Exactly.
No, I was just like, I feel like we're understanding. Like there were a lot of fucking snakes.
It
Like
was a
I don't.
lot.
They must have raided every Toys R Us for like 1,000 miles to get this many fake rubber snakes.
It was it's a comically large amount.
Yeah.
And what's weird about the transition is as they get off of Snake Alley, we'll call it, the sun is setting behind them, and as they pull into the gas station, it's like midday again.
I didn't even notice.
Um,
I mean, it's not surprising. This movie has a weird problem with chronology. As well, there's a joke or a funny thing that happens a little later on that I'll call out, but like there's no sense of time in this movie whatsoever.
or direction, as we've said, as we'll eventually see.
Are they
Like
going to California or are they going to
exactly.
Tennessee? Who cares?
They pull into a gas station now because they're running on a flat, and Clark needs to get the tire fixed and get some gas.
Mhm.
The gas station, he's met by the gas station attendant with a shotgun, and he's like, "What do you need?" And he kind of charges him like $200 to fix everything, and they have like a conversation. This guy is definitely like another Baron of Doom, right? He's like, yeah, the snakes, they're killing everything. This is God's punishment to man because we keep destroying the earth, and all these other like things that you would think maybe are going to be plot points for the film. Like
No,
maybe we'll find that like man opened up a cave and there's a bunch of toxic shit in there, but nothing
yeah,
happens.
because this guy straight talks. I think he even mentions like there's like nuclear mutations or like all the he mentions the nuclear testing that they did out in the desert. He said like dropping nukes under the ground or something like that. Like
Yeah.
all of these things, you think he's like dropping clues about the origin of the why all these snakes are hanging out on the pavement in mass and biting people and turning them into mutants. Like, but it goes nowhere. It's not brought up ever again because they straight up leave the desert after this.
They do. Yeah. Uh kind of weird. But the gas station attendant is played by actor Al Fan. Now, Greg, I know you're a big Naked Gun fan. He's from Naked Gun 2.5. He is credited as it's 4 minutes too slow in that film.
Whoa.
Is
I'm
that a deep
blanking.
cut? I
That
have
is
no
too deep a
idea.
cut. I have no idea what the hell that is.
No
It's probably
idea.
like he's probably there for like 2 seconds. It's like he's credited as like the joke punchline that he delivered.
Probably. This guy, his fucking acting credits are huge. He's been acting since 1970, and he's been in things like Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Richie Rich and Scooby Doo show. Like he's a voice actor as well. So he's done
Good for
quite
you.
a bit of different things.
He's just a working actor.
Yeah, I was very impressed that the gas station attendant in Curse 2 has probably the most impressive IMDb profile out of
he
most of these actors.
and he definitely sold like it's kind of annoying that we're getting like two harbingers of doom as creepy guys who work at gas stations, but this guy he's probably the scariest of all of them.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
really ominous. I mean, he's super threatening, and yet this idiot from California, wherever he's from, is just totally oblivious to all of that.
Yep. All Clark is concerned about is using the bathroom, and as he enters the gas station, he hears a odd sound of a dog, and he remembers that the gas station attendant was talking about how his dog died from a snake bite. So Clark goes to investigate, and I said to Jackie, I was like, "It's going to be a mutant snake dog," and she was like, "Shut the fuck up! That's not going to happen." And I was like, the movie's about mutant snakes. That
Mutant
dog
snake
has been
transformations.
mutated.
Yeah.
And I called it. That's a fucking mutant snake dog underneath.
Lo and behold, yeah. Because
Um,
like he's snooping around in there, which by the way, what a stupid move. Because this gas station attendant is like barely not shooting you. He had a gun
he's
pulled on him at
he's
first.
barely not shooting you.
Like
Very well put.
yeah,
Yes.
he's one stupid comment. He's one transgression away from blowing a hole in you. And he's snooping around in this guy's basement, this creepy, dark murder basement, to find a sound of a weird mutated dog. What a stupid move.
Yep.
But the dog looks awesome.
The dog does look awesome. And the gas station attendant kicked kicks Clark out, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." Uh, and then there's a tender moment between the gas station attendant and this mutant snake dog, where he's like trying to feed him, but for some reason the snake dog turns on the gas station attendant and kills him.
Yeah, but it's like it's hard. It looks cool, but we don't get like a total body shot of this transformed dog. We just see it's kind of like covered in a tarp, but we get this really like adorable, charming snake puppet kind of creep out from underneath the shadow, and it just looks it's so obviously like a guy with his arm and a puppet in like
Oh
a snake
yeah,
head puppet. But yeah, it's the charming little like B movie creature that you expect in a movie like this. It's great.
100%, 100%. Clark and Lisa go drive off, and they finally get to their rest stop destination in Texas. It's midday, so it's probably the perfect time to stop for some for some sleep. And I do like the attention to detail, because as the Jeep pulls up, they do have blood splatters on the side of it from all the dead snakes.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That's a surprisingly like accurate touch. I thought that they would not even bother with that.
As they start emptying out the car, Clark gets bit by a snake. You don't see it happening. You kind of just like hear it happen. It's kind of weird, right? Like you get the snake POV, it like zooms in on his hand, and then there's like a quick snip, and then
And
that's it.
he just kind of recoils. I don't come to think of it. Do we ever actually see the snake that was in the back?
No, we don't see it until it's dead.
Right.
Uh
But it was right around this time. Speaking of like weird, like chronological nonsense in this movie. So, Phil, in this scene, what time of day would you say it was, just based on the
it's
look of everything?
it is early afternoon at best.
Like 2 o'clock at the latest, right?
Yes.
So after he gets bit, there's this like family who's like having a picnic on their front lawn, and they come rushing over to see what the hubbub is about. And like out of nowhere, this mother, she's like trying to shoo her daughter away from the snake that just slithered away, and she's like, "It's past Heather's bedtime. We've got to go."
It
It's it's the middle of the day.
This whole moment right here is fucking weird, because you have the picnic family with the little girl that comes up, you have a hippie guy who comes up, and you have Maxwell Klinger from MASH watching from a undisclosed location. And they're all commenting on how this guy got bit. The little girl's like, the snake ran away.
They ran
And
away.
Clark is like, how do you know that? And the mom, that's when the mom's like, if my daughter said it fucking ran away, it ran away. It's time for her fucking
It's
bedtime.
after bed. Mommy, it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't had dinner yet.
The mom just starts beating the shit out of the little girl.
Shut the fuck up. I'll tell you to see snakes.
The hippie guy is like, hey, come on, man, we got to save your life. Like, we got to get you anti-venom. And it's really weird, because they transition to the inside of like a bar, probably in the hotel. The
But
hippie guy is now gone.
but like where are they? Like they stopped in like the middle of a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah.
Was there like a was there a shitty dive bar like across the street from this quaint like family having their picnic?
Maybe this is just the local Hampton Inn. This is Hamptonality right here at
This is
at
this is
its
the, this is the
finest.
Hojo, the Howard Johnson.
Exactly.
I
Uh,
guess.
Jamie Farr of MASH fame, who played Corporal Maxwell Klinger for all 11 years of MASH. He's also been in other movies like The Cannonball Run, uh, Scrooged. I mean, honestly, if you look at Jamie Farr's IMDb stuff, obviously, huge TV show. You can't ever take that away from him. But if you
Yeah.
look at his later credits, a lot of them are he just plays Jamie Farr,
Oh.
which like I guess it. I mean, he has such a if you're into classic 70s TV shows, such an iconic look and like sound, right?
Yeah,
So
he kind of has. I don't know. Maybe it was just an accent for this movie. I haven't seen a ton of stuff with him in it. He's got like a Brooklyn accent or something. Is he from New York?
yeah, Toledo. He's from Toledo,
Okay, never
Ohio.
mind. It must have just been an accent he did for the movie.
No, that's what he sounded like in MASH.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I think it's because of his like nose. He has a very iconic nose, to say the least. He has a very
Yeah.
large nose. Uh, but I gotta say, like, more majority of my knowledge of him comes from MASH, and I will say that he was quite enjoyable in this film if his character was pretty shitty.
Yeah, he plays he's like a traveling salesman, like a literal snake oil salesman, right?
I don't know what he sells. And this is what was so confusing about Jamie Farr's character. As Clark enters this bar, Jamie Farr is getting hit snake anti-venom ready and injects Clark with it. And Clark is like, "Oh, thanks, you're a doctor." And he's like, "I'm not a doctor. I'm a traveling salesman." And then
Which like
produces two sponge cards. They're business cards that turn into sponges.
what I don't even know what to say. Like he's almost like the dad in Gremlins. Like that's the kind of thing that I think they were trying to go for, where he's this kind of like this like general entrepreneur inventor type where he does a little bit of everything, but apparently also dabbles in snake anti-venom, which he calls an antidote, by the way, which is just profoundly stupid. But
I
like
mean, I don't yeah, I can't protect that. I was gonna say, well, it's kind of like an antidote. It's anti something,
it's anti
but
something, it's miracle cure. But like,
miracle cure.
why would you let this stranger in a bar inject you with anything?
If if anything, it he should have been like a G-man who's like, oh, you got bit by a snake, and then like injects him with something to start the mutation process. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it should have been, yeah, like it should have been like a more of like a nefarious, like a bad guy character who was like, oh, this is just what I need to like fulfill my project or something. Like he's like a disgraced scientist and the government kicked him out for being too crazy and he's trying to experiment on our main character unbeknownst to him.
But nope, he's just a good guy. Can't really make Jamie Farr a bad guy. He just seems too damn likable.
That's true.
Uh, but yeah, so I guess, according to Jamie Farr's character, Clark is now cured and he has nothing to worry about. So our two characters go to retire for the night and they canoodle. Uh, the next, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm so glad I said canoodle once in like an earlier episode, and we like that's our shorthand for awkward love scene
Oh, it
from
is very
then
awkward.
on.
It's very awkward because he puts his hand on like the top of her forehead and kind of traces it down her entire face and over her lips, and all I could think of was he's gonna shove his entire hand down her throat and choke her.
can,
um
can you not touch me with that nasty curse hand, please?
I exactly, I don't know, maybe it's because it's post-pandemic, but don't fucking, I don't know. Anyways,
Don't fucking touch my face, bro.
exactly. Clark is out cleaning the car, so Lisa is taking a shower.
In the car
And
wash, that's also so it's like this suburban neighborhood that has a dive bar and a full service car wash all in like one block.
hey man, this town's got it all.
It's
uh,
kind of
we get the snake vision. The snake was hiding inside of Lisa's guitar, and we get a long moment of watching the snake crawl underneath the sheets, and then Lisa sees it and beats the shit out of the snake with her guitar. I don't think that beating the ass of a snake with your guitar would kill it, but that's what happens. She
there.
kills the
Yeah,
snake.
there's like there's like two gross out parts of the scene. One is what you just described, like where she's like bashing the snake, because you'd think that like she was actually bashing a water balloon full of ketchup, because it just like
Yeah.
splatters underneath the sheet and it makes this like comically huge puddle of blood on the bed. But do you remember, Phil, like right before that, she hears or sees something moving under the sheets and she goes to like pick something up and she pulls in from off camera like a pair of her own underwear,
Oh, that's right.
which
Yes.
are full of what I can only describe as like neon green Nickelodeon slime.
It's like snake. snot or something like that.
What the hell is this supposed to be? It's like in
Snake
the
cum.
snake. Yeah, this nasty snake just came in her underwear. Like it, the fact that it's like her disgusting like panties full of this green slime. It's just like it's easily the grossest thing in this entire movie. And she like picks up and looks at it for a really long time and is like getting her hands all in it. Ugh.
It's it is definitely disgusting. I have there's multiple moments like this, and I have no idea what the fuck that
What were they
gelatinous
thinking?
blob was supposed to be.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe that's just something that mutant snakes secrete. It's just like they find a cozy place and just blast Nickelodeon ecto cooler all over the place.
Something like that.
Ugh.
The a little bit later we get this Jackie called it their artistic shot where we're filming Clark and Lisa through a window while the reflection is a train, and they're talking about like their destination and the fact that there was a snake in their bed and how Lisa's scared. And then there's like this really awkward like 30-second silence, and then Lisa's like, okay, let's go. And then
That was
we
all the processing time she needed for this bizarre incident in the hotel room.
But what's even more bizarre is then we cut back to the hotel, and I guess Clark and Lisa didn't tell anyone that there was a fucking dead snake in their bed because the cleaning lady's freaking out, and Jamie Farr is in there investigating for some reason, and he's like, "This snake isn't the type of snake that I gave him the anti venom for. That guy's gonna die."
Like that's like this weird little scene you described is what propels this snake oil salesman through the entire rest of the movie to find whatever his name. I forget his what is our main character's name again?
Clark.
Clark. I keep thinking Danny. I'm just gonna call him Danny. But but, but
But
how does
yeah,
he
he
know?
needs. I don't know how he knows that that snake is. He did make a comment earlier in the film. He's like, "We're in the Dust Bowl. I know my snakes, right?" So that's how he Maxwell Klinger has an encyclopedic knowledge of snakes,
Oh,
and
snakes.
he
Yeah,
knows that Danny is fucking dead if he doesn't get to him. And if
that's
Danny
why.
dies, he's gonna get sued. And if he gets sued, he's gonna go poor. And if he goes poor, he's gonna fucking die himself.
Yeah, that's this guy's motivation is not I need to save this guy who I injected the wrong anti-snake venom in a dive bar. No, he's not propelled by a sense of guilt or responsibility to save this guy's life. He just doesn't want to get sued.
Yep.
What an
Like any good
asshole.
American, you just don't
He
want
just
to get sued.
it's
I,
it's all just avoiding litigiousness.
I think they even make a comment where he's like, Jamie Farr is like, if I just did nothing and let him die, I would have been fine.
Yeah, seriously. What an
Uh,
asshole. Oh, before I forget, because I think this is the last time we see him, the guy who was hanging out with Mr. Mash, his I think his character's name was George or Georgie or something.
yeah. The
Pop
guy who's
quiz.
just making like
He's like
random ass comments.
yeah, he's I think he's like the hotel proprietor or something. I guess, or maybe he was the bartender. I don't know, but he's like he's been around in the background this whole time. Do you recognize him?
I
Because
have
he's
no
from
fucking
one
clue
of
who
the
that
two
is.
series. He's not in Star Trek, but he is in X Files.
Really?
He was in. Do you remember that episode where Mulder and Scully there's this like house for developmentally disabled adults, and one of them is he like sees people like murdered people before they die.
Yeah.
He
He's
sees them.
he's in that one?
He's in that one. He's not the main guy, but he is one of the other disabled patients in that house.
Interesting. Damn.
Yeah, it's again like these like character actors who show up in Star Trek and X Files. They find just like very distinctive people, and somehow I just remember their faces. I had to look it up. I eventually found it, but yeah, we've
Very
got our
cool.
we've
We
got
got
our
a
X
Star
Files
Trek,
reference.
or we got an X Files reference.
Yeah, there we
We'll get our
go.
Star Trek one eventually.
Oh yeah.
Um, so Clark and Lisa, they're back on the road, and Clark is acting a little more ominous. He's wearing sunglasses now. As my film teacher in college told me that when you're when your characters are wearing sunglasses, that means their future is not clear. I think you're just talking out of his ass.
I was
But you
that sounds like made up film teacher shit.
you can tell that he has snake-like qualities now as he opens up his fucking soda with his front teeth.
Oh my god, he did. I wrote that
Cringe.
down too. Like, it's like chewing on tinfoil.
Yeah. Ugh. Absolutely horrible. Toe curling. But then we introduce one of my favorite subgenres of the 70s and 80s, the convoy movie, as Maxwell Klinger is now rallying his quote unquote troops of truckers to help him find Clark, aka Danny, and Lisa in their Jeep. And we get a cavalcade of idiots and fuck ups. One of them is called Death Wish.
I know, right? And he's like the weirdest of them all. Because wasn't he the one who was talking about like euthanasia should be legal, man?
Yeah,
And
and he
just said
like
all sorts of weird shit.
he has a shotgun with him and he's like, "Do you want me to fucking kill him?"
We fucking kill him. My name's Death Wish.
Yeah. Then we have trucker Big Flo, who's a
Large Marge.
female. Exactly. We made multiple large Marge jokes when we saw her.
Yeah.
She is also kind of Klinger's love interest. They fuck in this movie. We'll get to that.
Spoilers.
She is the wrong Sarah Connor from the Terminator.
Really? The one
When
who
Arnold goes, Sarah Connor, and she's like, "What?"
she opens the door and she gets blown away.
She fucking dies. I was like, that's awesome
That's a great credit.
that she's in it. And she has a huge fucking acting career too, Greg.
Really?
232 credits.
Damn. Way to
Yeah.
go.
So obviously these people are doing extremely well for themselves. And then there's the third trucker. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Beef.
His name is Beef.
His
He's
name is
credited as
Beef.
Beef.
And this was his last acting credit. This movie came out in 1989. He died in 1990.
Oh, that's sad. I mean, he was drinking and driving in this movie, so
Not a lot of different credits for him, but he was in things called Made in USA. He was in Used Cars. This is a Robert Zemeckis film starring Kurt Russell. It just seems like a lot of bit parts, but he definitely had like a recognizable look. He kind of reminded me of Bud Flowers,
Buck
right?
Flowers?
Buck
Buck Flower?
Flowers. Buck
Oh
Flower.
yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of like
The
he looks like he would play a homeless guy.
yeah, which I mean, yeah, it could have been his Buck Flower did it. That was his niche in the late 80s, I feel like. So that's sad. He could have been in other trucker convoy movies.
But what's weird about this trucker convoy part is that these truckers are obviously all going into different directions, but yet they're still spotting Clark and Lisa's Jeep with GPS like accuracy.
So I thought that was supposed to be the joke though, is that like they're all kind of idiots and they're just like calling out any silver Jeep Cherokees that they were seeing. Because didn't like two of them say that they saw it going in like opposite directions?
I gotta say, I was just kind of amused by everything that was going on. I don't know.
I think
As
one of them spotted the real one, but then like I think it was Death Wish who chimed in. He's like, "Well, no, I saw them going south on blah 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 highway."
oh yeah, and he's like, it's filled with two ugly guys and a dog.
Oh
Um,
no! I
we
love that. I
trans
love that voice.
we transition tonight. Clark and Lisa, they pull up to the Triple R bar, and two Hickmobiles pull up right beside him. And they start hitting on Lisa. Clark wants to go to sleep. He's feeling like shit. He looks like shit. Lisa's wanting to go dance, and well, Lisa gets her wish, and she starts dancing. She's dancing with all the local yokels as Clark is drinking his worries away. Uh, Lisa comes up to him after dancing, and she's like, "Hey, Clark," and then Clark clocks the shit out of her.
Like majorly clocks the shit out of her. Like gets a full wind up and just smacks her as hard as he can. It's a hard hit.
It is. The Hicks, they confront Clark in the bathroom. They're like, "We're gonna beat the shit out of you," blah blah blah. And that's
Can
where we get our first like snake hand moment.
yeah, we the curse hand comes to life and kills one of the Hicks in the bar.
But you don't get a full on shot of the hand. You get this quick moment where Clark is like crushing his hand, right? He's like crushing his hand,
Mhm.
and like his like snake hand is like freaking out. So it's not like a full-on snake attack yet, but something creepy is happening inside of that.
Yeah, he's clearly losing control of whatever the hell it is under that bandage now. But
Uh
can we
okay, go ahead.
talk about the weirdness in this men's room, Phil? Because there is a door labeled guys room, guys, I think it just says. But
Yep.
there was a urinal outside of that door, like in the hallway outside the men's room.
The geography of this entire film, even from the standpoint of construction, it's just bonkers.
It's so weird. Like maybe that's like a unisex urinal that anyone can use, and
This is
then
the 80s. There's no such thing as unisex back then.
that's true.
They
Or
had two
maybe
sexes, and like those people still believe that. Okay.
oh yeah, maybe it was like there was like the men's room, and then inside the men's room there was the urinal, and then another deeper men's room called the guys' room
The guys
for real,
quote,
the real men.
quote unquote the guys room, wink wink, there's a fucking glory hole in there. um
Man, this movie would have taken a real weird turn if he like
he's like,
he stuck the curse hand through the glory hole.
I mean, if you'll eventually see his snake hand has a mouth. um
Oh my god, that would have been amazing.
Sign me up for that. Curse 3, the glory. um what's even weirder though is that Lisa, they transitioned to the hotel room. Lisa still has Clark with her, and she's just obviously for good reason bitching at him about how she's gonna leave him. But just fucking leave him right now. Like he just beat the
Yeah,
shit out of you.
like in a pub, like it's like classic, like reaction to someone in like a toxic abusive relationship. She's like the idea of like he like she like made him do that. Like, why are you sticking around at all? He just like smacked the shit out of you in a public, like in a bar. Leave now.
Exactly. But Clark leaves. He goes outside and he sleeps out there for the night. Uh, we transition to another scene where Klinger is sleeping or has been done canoodling with large Marge.
What an awkward cut. It's like from this tense relationship drama, like, and then hard cut to Large Marge and Snake Oil Salesman clearly naked under sheets.
Yeah,
It's like, what the fuck happened? What?
the movie can't
They're
decide if it
banging
wants to
now.
be a true horror film or a horror comedy film.
Or a horror comedy. Yeah, like it's clearly like a comedy cut. The idea that they're banging in this movie.
Because
It's
now Lisa is packing up. She gets in the Jeep to leave, and Klinger sees the Jeep and he's running out there in his underwear trying to flag her down while he's trying to put his pants on. And he's like, "Oh my god, that's them." And
and Large Marge just think that's the funniest shit she's ever seen.
yep. But what's really weird though is she clearly leaves Clark behind. But the next scene, he's in the fucking car.
He's in the rig. Yeah. I don't know.
And what's
Again,
even
geography and
weirder,
time, people teleport around.
and then there's this part, the sexual molestation. So
Oh my
Clark
god.
is he has his normal human hand. It's on the oh shit handle of the car. You know, the thing that you grab when you're like, we're gonna crash. Oh shit. Um,
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you mean, right above your head.
yep. And then he's noticing Lisa's legs are
Oh my god.
slowly spreading farther and farther apart. And
And we know this because the camera hangs on this like crotch shot, this like close up of her crotch area and the steering wheel. And just it hangs on that for like 3, 4 seconds, which feels like an eternity.
which I paused the movie at this point and I was like, Jackie, is she horny? Is she like wanting to have sex? I don't get why they're doing this after such a serious moment with them.
After she was just publicly beaten
Yeah.
by her abusive cursed boyfriend.
And lo and behold, he starts diddling her with his fucked up snake hand.
With
This
his weird
thing,
curse hand.
the bandage, the tip of the bandage, Greg, is neon green from like
It's
the fucking snake slime.
all the nasty ecto cooler goop that's like seeping out of this curse hand. And he just sticks that right down her crotch. And Phil, she's loving it.
So Jackie had a few glasses of wine last night when we were watching this, and she made the offhanded comment of that snake is going up the hole. And I was like, Jackie, I was like, Jackie,
Ew.
that is fucking disgusting. I can't believe I didn't think of that joke. But like she is digging it, and she is Lisa is getting turned on, and she's like, I hate you. And like
Yeah.
again, just like earlier in the movie, when they're not looking at the road ahead of them, but all the dead snakes that they're running over, Lisa's eyes are closed. She is transported to a tropical island right now where she is relaxing and
With a
getting,
snake in her crotch.
yeah, they're going to fucking crash. Her
Oh my
eyes are
God.
closed this entire scene as he is rubbing her.
Phil, we need to, this is something we need to put on our YouTube channel is like do a cut of that scene and then just like cut in a car like careening off a cliff or something. Because that's exactly what would have fucking happened.
And then unfortunately, we have a VHS quality rip here. I'm assuming that this next scene is them canoodling in a barn, but it's just two black blobs rolling on top of each other. This film has such it owes definition. It has sucked definition out of the world. This is so low def.
It's because it's like, especially because it's so dark, like you can really see those like nice big JPEGy blocks on the screen. You don't know what the hell is happening.
Exactly. It's super weird. But then we cut and Clark is now driving the car and he is like fucking sweating bullets.
Yeah.
He looks like he's been taking some drugs. And unfortunately, that's what the sheriff believes when they pull him over. The sheriff
Yep.
is played by Bo Svensson. Now, I immediately recognized this name when it came out.
Okay, because I think he had a special credit in the opening titles, right? Like and also starring or guest starring so and so as the sheriff or something.
Yep.
I didn't recognize him. What is he from, Phil?
He is from Walking Tall, the original Walking Tall movies in the 70s, where he played Sheriff Buford Pusser. I know, really
What
weird last name.
the fuck kind of name is
This
that?
this movie was remade with The Rock,
Oh, okay, that's why I recognize the title.
but he's kind of like this B movie level actor. He does after he did like the Walking Tall series, this is kind of what he's been relegated to. All these really great B movies, right?
It's like
He
a
was
guest
in,
star.
yeah, he was in like the Dirty Dozen sequel, the one that no one really
What?
talks about. Exactly.
A stream, the dirtier dozen.
The dirtiest dozen. But I mean, obviously, there's people like Tarantino who like him. So he was in Kill Bill. He was in Inglorious Bastards. So he gets some A-list cred, but most of his stuff is
Is cursed to the
B-list.
bite level quality.
Exactly. But what a great no nonsense
Asshole
sheriff,
sheriff.
Texas sheriff, right? Like this is exactly what if I ever got pulled over in Texas, if my outcome isn't like this, I would be
You'd be
upset.
disappointed.
Because
So what
the sheriff is like he pulls him over and he's like, "What's under that bandage?"
show me the hand. If you just show me the hand, it's going a lot better for you.
Exactly like he's smuggling drugs in his fucked up hand.
Yeah. What's the implication there? I mean, I guess it's obvious. Like he clearly suspects, like you said, that he's on drugs because yeah, he's sweating bullets. He's acting real squirrely. But what does he think the hand has to do with it?
I I don't know. I think the implication is that it's Texas, it's dark. He's not gonna say no. Um
Because of the implication.
but like the sheriff, he finds the rifle and he is like, you don't got a permit for this in my county. And then he's like, okay, or he tells his deputy to arrest him. And unfortunately, Clark has the keys. So Lisa's left stranded under an overpass somewhere in Texas.
Yeah, I actually like right before that happened, I was like, I wonder, did he take the keys with him in the cop car? And then like right after that, she goes to start the car and realizes she doesn't have them. I was like, sucker.
Loser.
Wah, wah.
uh
So she spends the car apparently spends the night in a cold car.
yeah, I know,
That sucks.
somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
As the sheriff and his deputy are driving to the police station, Clark starts freaking out. They think he's tweaking, and so they pull over. They're like, okay, yeah, take care of him and make sure that he's okay. And this is where we get the first legitimate snake attack, but you don't see the snake. Clark shoves his hand down the deputy's throat
Like up to the elbow.
and then like rips out part of his guts.
It was his heart because you could
Was it
see
his
it
heart?
beating. Yeah,
Oh, damn.
you could see it beating after he pulled it out. He pulled this guy's heart out through his throat with the curse hand. Awesome.
So cool. Like the effect does work. Like the mouth of the deputy definitely, like the dummy head that they make definitely work.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, and we see it. We happen to, we get better examples later on in the movie, but the quality of like the fake heads and faces that we get in this it's like weirdly out of place. They're that good.
Yep. And then as the sheriff walks back to his car, he's bonked over the head by something. And then we cut to Clark getting back into the truck or the Jeep with Lisa. And then he finally gets driven to a hospital after Greg, a moment. Go ahead.
Like he so first of all, he finds his way back to the car, which how? Like he's probably like 20 miles away by that point. He just wanders back. He just knows where the Jeep is. But he gets in the car and he's clearly fucked up. His girlfriend is freaking out. She's like, I need to take you to the doctor. You're super sick. And he's like throwing a toddler temper tantrum about not wanting to go to the doctor. And right at the end, before we cut away to them being at the doctor, he lets out this like comical no, which we'll listen to right here.
I showed him my heart.
Oh, baby, you're like ice. Oh, I gotta get you to a doctor. Come on, we're going to the hospital.
No, I'm not going to no
Clark,
doctor.
you're sick.
No.
Honey, they'll help you. Come on.
No!
And we'll
It's
compare it to, like, it kind of reminded me of Star Trek's Khan, which we'll hear right here. Like it was so weird.
It was like, I mean, you could tell he was like trying to really sell it, like he was acting, but it just comes across so like childish in some weird way. Like this probably got the biggest laugh out of Becky and I through the entire movie. We rewound it and watched it a couple times because it was just so bad.
No.
And no, he like, and I was grabbing the clip from earlier in the movie a little while ago, and we were listening to it again. I could just hear Becky like chuckling under her breath over here next to me. Oh, so good.
It's those great moments in cinema that really just stick with you.
Mwah.
I thought it was really weird as he's now laying on a hospital bed and a doctor is attending to him. They have yet to address the bandage hand. She's like sedating him and doing all this other shit, but
Mhm.
he's kind of like covering it up, and really no one's really paying attention or cares about the bandage
No,
hand. And Lisa is mysteriously disappeared.
I was just gonna say, where is she through all this? Is she just like chilling in the waiting room reading a magazine? I mean, she just kind of disappears for a while.
It's definitely weird. So after he gets sedated, there's some dialogue about like, oh, what's wrong with you, blah blah blah, and that's when the nurse starts opening up the bandage, and like again, the snake vomit comes out, and
Yep.
we get a view of the hand, and it's starting to fuse together. All the fingers are starting to fuse together.
Yeah. What a disappointing, like, because at this point, like, oh, like, ooh, I was excited because we're gonna get like a curse hand reveal. We're gonna reveal the snake hand. And I thought it was gonna like jump out and bite the nurse. Like, it's just so disappointing because it just goes nowhere. Like when she opens it up, it just looks like this, yeah, like a dirty diaper. This disgusting pile of goop
Yeah,
with
like
the
if your
fingers
hand's
fused
been
together.
in the water for too long, and like,
Yeah,
the skin's kind of like loosening up and coming off,
yeah.
right?
I mean, it
Uh,
looks gross, but it's just disappointing. Like you think something like a jump scare is going to happen, but it doesn't.
we get an X-ray of his hand where we see it kind of fusing together, and then the doctor starts talking into her little tape recorder about these hypotheses of what's happening, and she's like saying like his DNA is being fundamentally rewritten.
Yeah. Well, I grabbed that was like my runner-up quote of the week. We'll play the entire clip here.
Extraordinary. Newman, Clark, male, age 23, single. Snakebite to the left hand. In the web between the index finger and thumb. Symptoms: loss of consciousness, convulsing, fever, vomiting. Diagnosis: the neurotoxins contained in this venom encountered the immune system's T cells, replacing and invading the genetic code of the patient's forearm, modifying its structure. Cause: unknown. Hypothesis: like some fungi, this particular venom must have symbiotic properties. Infected by the neurotoxins, the immune system's T cells do not die, rather accept the foreign DNA and allow it to replicate. Antibodies produced by a previous administration of an antidote appear to have had neither adverse nor beneficial effects against neurotoxins of this order.
It makes no sense what the fuck she's saying.
How, like, not only does it not make any sense, but how did this like urgent care doctor in a shitty bumfuck nowhere town do all of these like DNA tests and like genetic analyses and blood work in like the last hour that he's been here?
It's easy when there's no one around to double check your work. You can just make anything up that you want.
She's just blathering into the recorder with whatever crap she thinks off the top of her head.
Pretty much. If I was a doctor of a local town and like I mysteriously died and I had tapes upon tapes of my patients, it would just all be that kind of shit. Like, oh, little Timmy came in with a cough today. I think he's being assimilated from the inside by an organism from outer space.
Alien organism. My God. It goes all the way to the top.
It does. The doctor, like the actress Sandra Sexton here, she doesn't do a bad job selling the insane dialogue that has been given to her, but the dialogue just doesn't make any sense, and it adds more confusion to the overall film.
It's so like the science-y technobabble. It reminds me of, remember that scene in Ninja 3 where Lucinda Dickey goes to see a doctor and they just spout all this nonsense about her like being really like abnormally into Japanese culture and having ESP.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that was, nothing's gonna top that. That was a pretty sweet quote. But like that's what this reminded me of.
Or like in Zombie 3 when they're like, yeah, add those two molecules.
Oh my
together.
God, yeah. Yes, put this molecule here. Yes, science.
The doctor is now doing some doctor shit to the messed up hand, and that's when we notice that the hand has an eyeball now, and like it opens up and like looks around and stuff. Like it's turning like, more snaky,
and it's like fused to the bandage almost. Like the eye opens and it's like between the bandage wraps or something.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, finally, like that's
so fucking cool.
That's what we were expecting in the first reveal, like 2 scenes ago. I don't know why they waited till this point to have it like be alive.
I don't know, but the snake snaps fast and snaps furious because he like grabs her lower jaw and rips it off.
Yeah.
It looks great.
It looks awesome. And it's these like little like punctuation points of really well done gore effects. It just seems so out of place in this movie. Honestly, it makes them more effective because you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
To look that real and that good. But again, that's the attack that we should have gotten when she was like slowly unbandaging the hand and having like have it be really tense and you're not sure when it's going to jump out at her.
Yeah, I
Oh
don't.
well.
It's that classic Italian cinema. Um, but
we got snake attack blue balls over here.
have no fear. Maxwell Klinger is here, and he has entered, and he's like, "Hey, Clark, we have to give you the right antidote." And he starts freaking out. He notices the dead nurse, and we get this POV shot of him getting backing up towards the door,
Mhm.
and we assume his fate has been met, and he is dispatched as Clark leaves the hospital with his snake hand.
And everyone just lets him go.
Just yeah, like nothing fucking happened. And he
No.
ditches Lisa. He grabs the Jeep, he leaves Lisa behind uh to go literally
Oh,
one
that's
block
right.
down the road to a Chevron station, where he immediately goes into a bathroom and he starts beating up his own hand.
Can we
And
can we just say real quick how this is the third gas station that we've stopped at in this movie? Like so much important shit happens in gas stations and bars in this movie. It's astounding.
it is definitely weird. And I think it's just like it gets to the point where the writer is just like, how he needs a
I
moment
don't know.
alone. Where does he go?
A gas station
Bathroom,
bathroom, but we
gas
just
station
did
bathroom.
that. We just had an important attack scene in a bar bathroom. No, no, it's fine. The audience won't notice.
Super weird. And then there's also just a random hatchet with him, and he cuts off his snake hand.
After he's like done bashing it on the walls of the bathroom, then he just hatchets that shit right off and takes it like a champ.
One clean swoop, no pain felt. Uh, but as he exits the bathroom, he notices that Lisa and the cops are now looking for him, and he freaks out. And he finds uh, refuge inside of a green pickup truck that
Mm-hmm.
is owned and operated by clearly the Swedish chef.
Yeah. When we were
What
talking
the
about
fuck was this actor, screenwriter, director thinking, allowing this to happen?
I don't know. We were talking about accents earlier. Like that's what we were talking about. Like this guy is putting on this weird accent that we can only describe as like the Swedish chef from the Muppets. Like, or the Lord told me to help you downtrodden people. So
It
I'll take you to my house, Mr. Snake Arm Man.
it makes no sense why
I
this fucking guy talks with an accent.
I have I why? Why did it need to be an accent at all? Why can't it just be like some guy, some like a religious guy who wants to help someone? But I mean, that's
Because
another thing. Like, why would you get into your car if there was this guy who looks like a junkie who's coming down hard, hiding in your passenger seat? I would immediately call the cops.
before he started talking, I was like, man, he's really cool with like a fugitive in his
Yeah,
car.
no,
I was like, he's a fucking Nazi, I bet. Like he's just like, yeah, I know
he's
what it's like, dude.
gonna take him to his. That's what I thought the turn was gonna be like. He was gonna take him, and he turns out he's like gonna kidnap this guy and put him in his
Yeah,
murder like rape dungeon basement or something. But no,
super weird. Especially because he's credited as Farmer Dave. Terrence Evans was born in Los Angeles, California.
I mean, I guess that explains why the accent is so bad.
He was in movies like Terminator 2 as tanker truck driver. He
Tanker
was
truck
in Star Trek Voyager,
driver.
episode Nemesis as Ambassador Treen.
We got a Star Trek and an X Files reference in the same movie.
He was also in Star
Amazing.
Trek Deep Space Nine, episode The Cardassians as Proka, and episode Progress as Baltrim.
I don't remember any. I'm sure I remember the episodes if I looked them up, but it sounds like he was just like a background guy. I could see him playing a Cardassian because they're usually kind of tall and slender, especially with all the prosthetics they put on them.
But yeah, and he was also in two Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies as the character Monty. I don't really remember Monty from the movies, but
Is he in
sure.
the second one, which we'll eventually watch?
No, he's in the first
Oh,
the Michael Bay remake one.
oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Bummer.
yeah, a pretty long career. Duds, he's done stuff.
He's done stuff. I mean,
He's
that's
done
like
stuff.
like every background character in this has a longer and more fleshed out career than like our main characters do. All these
It's
like accomplished character actors.
it's super weird.
Uh,
Super weird.
yeah, cast the Swedish Chef as the main guy.
I
I'll take a whole movie of that.
Same here. You put Muppets in any movie, it makes it infinitely better.
Bork, 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 my snake is hand.
So Lisa has a quick conversation with the sheriff in which he's like, okay, I'm going to let you try to find your boyfriend and you're going to report back to me when you find him so we can take care of him. Somehow Lisa calls someone and immediately finds out where he is.
Yeah, Becky and I are really confused about that too. She's like at a payphone and talking to someone, like it's like she called 411 and just they told her
Where's my boyfriend at 411?
where's my boyfriend? He's got a weird snake arm and he looks real squirrely. And he was getting in a green truck with a Swedish Chef.
It's so weird. I don't know, again, like what was the fucking screenwriter doing here?
They were like, they wrote themselves into a corner and they didn't know how to get her to the Swedish Chef's family's creepy homestead. So that they wrote that scene in of her calling 411 and getting the information.
But she finds them with no issue, and that's when we meet the Swedish Chef's family. They're super religious, and I thought there was going to be like this weird religion angle that was going to get introduced into the film.
Yeah.
But really nothing happens with that. And
I
they
love the
do
daughter though, because she's like, she doesn't seem like she fits with this family. She's like a
No.
normal little girl, but like multiple times because we get this scene where they invite them in for dinner or something and talking about like their past and everything. And the little girl's just like, Mom, I want to see the hand. Show me the
Yeah.
hand.
She is obsessed with seeing that dude's hand, and I don't blame her. I honestly
No.
think that maybe just is the actress talking. She's bored of the scene and she's like, I want to see the hand now.
That was the actual little girl and they just kept it in. That's amazing.
The mom is played by Savina Gershok, and she is from Yugoslavia. So I wonder if that's like her real accent.
But okay, I'm amazed to hear you say that because I thought her accent was even worse than the guy's.
Who knows?
It was terrible.
Maybe she's Yugoslavian putting on a Swedish accent and it's just really bad.
And that's why but like there were like a couple points because she's like, we get this scene after dinner where she's like reading her daughter a bedtime story. And by bedtime story, I mean some boring Bible verse. And I swear a couple times, like the accent just drops and she just sounds like a Valley girl.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows what's going on here? The little girl is Shiri Appleby, and she has a very long IMDb credit as well.
Really?
Yeah, she's in a ton of stuff. She has 87 acting credits. She's still acting to this day. She's been in like legitimate TV shows like Chicago Fire. She's been in, I guess, illegitimate TV shows like Xena Warrior Princess. She's done a lot of stuff.
Xena Warrior Princess is a national treasure that's from New Zealand, but
True, yes. And she's also she was in Freddy's Nightmares as well.
Oh, there's
that Nightmare on Elm Street TV show.
Man, we're always coming back to these weird 80s TV spin-offs of movies.
Yeah, I was very surprised and shocked, despite all these older actors, that none of these people were in Mama's Family, but whatever.
One of these days we'll do an episode about Mama's Family. You'll get me to watch an episode.
Exactly. Clark is awoken by Lisa in the middle of the night, and he is looking like shit. Again, just really strung out and everything. And then the little girl takes this moment to sneak out of her bedroom to go creep on them to look at the hand
with her like light up He-Man sword toy.
Yeah, and she like pokes the hand, and then like snake vomit comes out, and a legit snake comes out of the bandage.
It does.
It has finally happened. He has a snake hand.
It's so glorious to finally see it because it's basically the same snake hand puppet that we got with the cursed dog in the gas station.
They just take the dog ears off of it.
They just took the dog, yeah. But it looks it's charmingly bad and funny, and yeah, you just honestly that's what we wanted this whole movie, Phil, is we just wanted snake hand. It looks like an oven mitt with teeth on it, and we just
Yep.
wanted to see that killing people this whole movie, and finally it delivers.
Yep, 12 minutes before the movie's over. The snake has
Perfect timing.
superpowers like shooting its tongue out and wrapping around people's necks and pulling them in for the kill.
Yeah.
Farmer Dave is dispatched not by the snake, but by the hard panel wood corner of a door as his head is bashed into it.
Yeah, that is kind of disappointing, isn't it? Like the first kill that we get with the fully transformed snake, it's not even the snake killing the guy. It's he gets bumped on the head.
The wife gets Dilophosaurus spat at by the snake, and I'm assuming it melts her face or some horrific thing, but we don't really get to see it.
No, she just dies falling down the stairs.
Yep. And then Clark climbs up top of the Jeep as Lisa drives away. And that's where we get to our centerpiece area, which is like a ditch.
Yeah, it's like so I guess the religious family's out in the middle of nowhere, and she's like on these dark back roads, and she takes a turn onto like it's like a road that they're doing like drainage, like they're putting in drainage pipes, and she accidentally like reverses into this pit, right?
It's so, I mean, I guess I get what they're going for because like it kind of looks cinematic, but it again, on the other hand, it's a ditch.
It's just kind of a ditch. It was just they knew that they wanted a scene in a muddy pit because it starts raining, of course. They knew they wanted to get this actress in a mud pit, and they found the way to do it, I guess.
But as she careens into the ditch, Clark starts transforming even more into a snake, like his eye pops out. That was a really cool effect.
Again, like the fake heads in this, because as he's like on the hood of the car now, and he's like staring down in through the windshield at her, and that's when he starts transforming. And like we cut back and forth to him, like the actual actor, back and forth to the fake head when the eye like pops out. It's I don't want to say necessarily I won't necessarily say it's seamless, but it looks really good.
It does.
It's hard to tell.
It looks really great. And this is where we finally get that he spawns snakes because he's vomiting out baby snakes.
Oh my God, it's so gross.
It is. I mean,
And
this
also,
is the movie that we wanted to see the entire time.
Yeah.
Eventually Lisa gets out of the Jeep, and despite there being a really noticeable egress out of this ditch, she can't find a way out.
No.
So she goes through this concrete cylinder. What I thought was really funny because of the lack of definition in the movie was that she eventually comes up to like this grate. I couldn't fucking make it out. I was like, why did she stop? And it was like, oh, there's actually like a grate that I can't see because the quality of the movie is so shitty.
It's just like JPEG now, so it just looks like a gray blur.
Yeah.
It's a force field.
Exactly. She eventually gets it open as Clark is kind of
Chasing
slithering his way towards her. She falls into a mud pit. And there's already snakes in there. There's snakes everywhere now. And as Clark crosses over the precipice of the tunnel, he starts vomiting more snakes out.
Yeah.
It's just a scene of like boa constrictors coming out of this dummy's head.
Yeah.
It is fucking amazing.
It looks awesome, and it's lit really well. It's like backlit, so you don't really see exactly the face too well, but it just, yeah. And it's not baby snakes anymore. Like you said, it's like full size, like huge ass boa constrictors just like pouring out of this fake dummy head onto this poor actress. It looks awesome.
It does. Clark eventually slops down into the mud with her, and they have like the Fly moment. Have you seen The Fly with Jeff Goldblum?
Once a long time ago, and it scared the shit out of me. I need to rewatch it.
So they kind of have like their Fly moment where Clark comes to the realization and he's just like, fucking kill me. And then he assists Lisa in killing himself, right?
Oh yeah, because she's got like it's like a piece of rebar or something that she's kind of threatening him with.
Yeah. And then he gets stabbed and he has like that moment of clarity where he's crying, but then like his skull splits open.
Yes. And
And
it's
you're
like how to describe it? It's like it hinges back. Like I thought that they were going to do a thing where like a snake unhinges its jaw and opens up super wide. I thought that that's what was going to happen, but that's kind of what it looks like.
yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like. But out from the split skull comes a deformed super mutant snake.
Yeah, right out of the little neck stump.
It looks it looks creepy. It has like the spine of a human, but like the face of a snake, right?
Yeah, it's a definite step up from like the oven mitt hand puppet that we got earlier.
Um, the sheriff shows up. He throws Lisa a rope and he's like, "Get on up here." And then they all notice the super snake coming out of the mud, and Maxwell Klinger is there as well because the writer wrote him to be there.
Because apparently he survived
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he
for
survives. He was
reasons.
supposed to be dead, but he makes the comment of like, "I passed out." During all this excitement, he's like, "I passed out when the snake guy tried to attack me."
A throwaway line just to spackle over the glaring plot hole.
Exactly. And he's like, I'm kind of a coward, and the sheriff is like, "I know what you are." And like Klinger kind of gets really serious, and he notices the mutant snake rising from the muck and mire of the ditch, and right before the snake is about to strike Lisa and kill her, he pulls out a shotgun and blows the snake up.
Bam.
Thus ends Curse 2. The
on
bite.
on a not in just a head explosion, which I love, but a snake head explosion.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
it meets all the criteria of what a B movie should be. The beginning and the ending are very exciting, and everything in between is super confusing.
Is weird and confusing, but like in a funny bad way. Lots of like funny, confusing lines, bad acting, just bad music. It checks all the boxes. And I think this is definitely one of those movies that I might not have enjoyed as much had I watched it alone, but Becky and I watched it together on a Saturday night, and it was a fun movie to watch. I think with a group to kind of like make fun of as it's going, because there's a lot of like meaty B movie things to chuckle about and comment on.
Oh, 100%. Like it is. If I was alone, I definitely would have enjoyed it as much. Watching it with Jackie, having someone to make fun of it with, and kind of make asinine comments about it, it was much more enjoyable. This is 100% the perfect movie to put on with your buddies, 90 minutes, grab a couple beers, have fun, and watch it.
And yeah, just comment the shit out of it.
Um,
So like I gave this like a split rating for that reason. So it's as a funny bad like movie to watch with friends, 5 out of 5.
Oh, 100%.
It's awesome. It's everything you want. For an actual rating, 1 maybe for some of the gore effects.
I gave it a 2. I gave it a 2 if it was just a normal everyday movie. But yeah, with friends, it definitely elevates it. Like we said, like the middle, a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the action, it really just makes no sense. There should have been way more snake. I just don't know what the director, writer were thinking with having Klinger in there. His whole plot thread doesn't really do anything besides it being comedic.
No. Yeah, like that's why I think they could have kept that character in, but like have
Make him something else.
Yeah, make him like he's like a government doctor or something, and he's connected. Remember in the very beginning, we get those guys in the hazmat suit, like have that be it was his project. And he has some exposition dump around halfway through when he tells them, "Hey, this is what's happening to you." He's ashamed of what he did. He's got like the Robert Oppenheimer syndrome, where he created this horrible genetic snake thing to make a super soldier. I don't know, like any number of cool sci-fi horror concepts, and have him be sort of the head scientist guy who explains everything. Exposition grandpa.
Exposition Klinger.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and as you said earlier, you can buy this on Blu-ray, a double feature with the curse, but it's fucking $99 on Amazon. This
Yeah.
is not worth $100.
No, it's one of those like Scream Factory releases, which I really love, but they go out of print so fast just to create this annoying like artificial scarcity. And
Why do you
it's
think that happens? Why do you like? I can kind of get Vinegar Syndrome, smaller company. They can't afford to constantly reprint, but Scream Factory, which is owned by Shout Factory, a lot larger.
yeah, bigger distributor. You'd think, honestly, the only thing I can think of is that artificial scarcity thing that I mentioned. Like they just want to drive up demand to get people, like when they do a new release, people will know that, oh, it's going to go out of print if I don't snap it up now.
Because 100%, if the Curse 2 double feature pack ever comes out and it's like $20, I'm probably gonna pop on it
Oh yeah,
because
exactly.
I would
I,
want to rewatch this movie in a better quality.
Exactly. And this, like, because it was so much fun to watch with a group. Like, I could definitely see doing this again. I think you and I probably did the exact same thing. Like after it was over, we went to Amazon to see. Oh, I would buy that. That
Yeah.
like if it was like a $10 $12 Blu-ray, I'd pick it up. But yeah, we get blasted with the $99 like price gouge, and we're like, oh my god, sucks for us people like us who discover these kind of funny bad movies too late after they're out of print.
But you know what? That happens to other people. We popped on Action USA, and now those motherfuckers are paying out teeth for Vinegar Syndrome release Action USA.
Fuck yeah. Speaking of which, that you remember that bar scene where Danny slaps the shit out of his girlfriend with a curse hand?
Yeah.
I swear to God, for most of that scene, I thought that was the same bar that they get into a brawl in Action USA.
Were you expecting Panama to show up?
Panama shows up 2 days from retirement.
Oh man.
Oh my god. And that like the curse guy like throws the douchebag hick into the pinball machine like Panama gets thrown into.
Oh man, I love it. I love
Remember
it.
Action USA?
Such an awesome movie. We're not the only people who have thoughts on Curse 2 the Bite, because we watched this on YouTube. It's our favorite moment where we read YouTube comments.
Can't wait.
Jen R said, this movie gave me nightmares. 30 years later, it's still on my mind. Ha ha.
What? How did this? I don't know. I can't. I take that back. There's lots of weird shit that gave me nightmares as a kid, like objectively bad movies. And I think like Mars Attacks that gave me nightmares. Those like skeleton ray guns.
Hey, man,
yeah, I'm not. I don't want to talk.
Imagination goes wild. Kamen said, what I found really sad is at 1 hour, 31 minutes and 30 seconds, which is pretty goddamn near the end of the film, you can still see a bit of Clark remaining. Even though he's fully controlled by the snake, he's still feeling all the pain until the moment that his jaw rips apart. Seeing the sad look on his face as he gets stabbed by Lisa really makes me feel bad for the both of them, but mostly Lisa. She had to kill who she loved.
Oh, fuck off. You're projecting way too much emotional drama into this.
Joaquin replied back, the jaw scene scared the shit out of I have a weakness with jaws being ripped in half. I love gore, but I have my limits.
Oh, Phil, that's like you with your thing about eyes.
Oh, I fucking hate eye stuff.
this guy's got a thing about jaw stuff.
Richard, I think, sums up all of our feelings after watching Curse 2 the Bite. The moral of the story is never take the shortcut. Stick to the main road.
Yes. Always listen to the Harbinger of Doom.
Always. It's so again, like there's all these it's so weird reading YouTube comments where it's like back in the 80s,
I love this movie.
Yeah, exactly. But you gotta love it. There's something to be said about communal loving
film experience
movie schlock.
Yeah. Every B movie has a contingent of people who saw it as a kid and have a weird attachment to it later on in life.
Dwayne comments, obviously, Dwayne, you need to go back to school. Pretty sorrow the chick lost her boyfriend after he bit by a mutant snake and his body one by one is transforming. Great movie then first.
Wait. His body one by one.
Fucking Charlie wrote this.
Dennis is a bad man.
Yeah. You vote. I'm good. Candidate. Oh man.
So do. Oh
Such
my God.
such a fun movie. So, speaking of movies, what else have you been watching?
What else have I been watching? So I think the kind of the big viewing for me was we finally watched that movie Free Guy that came out, the Ryan Reynolds movie. I think it was
Yes.
like one of those poor COVID releases where they didn't quite know what to do with it. Went out to theaters. I honestly don't know how it did, but this movie was surprisingly really good. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking like, it didn't really do it justice, but it was actually really good. There was a lot more of like the real world as opposed to the video game world, and there was a lot of like parallels in between. Honestly, like I feel like Free Guy, the structure of it is what would make a really good D&D movie where you get like real life characters and their in-game characters sort of having like parallel conflicts and parallel plot lines. And I don't know, it was actually it was pretty charming. Some really good cameos which I won't spoil, but yeah, it's on Disney Plus I think, and some other, I think it might be on HBO Max also, but definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. And then I also watched Becky and I watched Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which is one of the older, I think, Studio Ghibli movies. I think I probably saw this one last, though. I think I saw like Princess Mononoke first, and then I think at sometime in college I watched like I binged the whole library, and this probably is my top 3 of the Ghibli movies just because of how like it's kind of dark and kind of grim, and it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic world, and the voice cast in the English dub is pretty good. So yeah, definitely an animated movie we go back to pretty often.
Interesting.
What,
I don't think I've seen that Ghibli movie.
I definitely recommend checking it out. It's definitely, it looks like kind of like the early mid 80s anime where it's like not quite like Spirited Away tier animation quality, but it's still it's a great story. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely if you like their more recent movies, I definitely recommend it.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I think my favorite one is Secret World of Arrietty. I like small things. I like the idea of like Ant-Man, right? I like
And
small
How Do I Shrunk the
things.
Kids kinds of
Yeah.
stories. Yeah, I remember seeing that too. That's good.
I watched Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin.
What is that, like
So
5 or 6?
I think this is the 5th one. So
Okay.
this one, it kind of drops the whole lore of the previous Paranormal Activities, where it's kind of like following the story of like one demon family or whatever. This
Mhm.
one is Amish people. Like this girl finds out that she is a daughter of an Amish person who like she got given up at birth, and she tries to reunite with her long lost family, and it's under the guise of a documentary, so that's why it's like a found footage type movie. The movie is a steaming pile of shit. Don't watch it. So it has ghosts and it has a demon, and the ghost kind of plays no part in the overall structure of the film. It's more about the demon that's inside the well, and it's shit. Don't watch it.
Oh man, it's amazing that like I feel like that's what could have happened to Blair Witch Project, because the first Paranormal Activity was like it was so profitable because it was so cheap to make. It was inevitable that they made like a conga line of shitty sequels. I'm amazed that they only did one for Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, total shit. I rewatched Hellraiser on
Awesome,
Blu-ray,
awesome.
Arrow video release. Absolutely
Yeah,
loved it. Jackie has come around and is liking it more, but she gets super confused by the ending, and I'm like, don't really worry about it. It doesn't really matter. It's just
yeah.
the ending is kind of weird.
The weird like skeleton dragon that pops out at the end
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that's the ending of that movie is definitely the weakest part, but yeah, and I've got that Arrow video release too. It looks fantastic, but
Yes.
I love Andrew Robinson, Anthony Robinson, what's his name?
The guy
The
who
main the
plays
dad,
yeah,
the
what's
main
the
guy.
dad's name? I can't think of his name off. Larry, the guy who plays Larry.
Yeah. But anyway, he plays Garrick in Deep Space Nine, one of my favorite characters. So I love the actor, and yeah, that movie is it's full of super gross out, scary things. So good choice.
That guy, one of his first or earliest movies was Dirty Harry, where he plays the Scorpio killer, which is kind of like the Zodiac killer. He was so good and convincing that he actually got death threats constantly. They're like,
Really?
yeah, people were like, you're a fucking insane person, like you're quote unquote dangerous, right? The way that you act, we're gonna fucking kill you.
Good on you for giving such a great performance that you actually like get hated in real life.
And you know, it's interesting that you bring up that how much you enjoy him, because you're gonna get to see him in our next movie, Cobra.
No, he's
Crime
in
is
Cobra.
Disease. Meet the Cure. Sylvester Stallone stars in Cobra.
Awesome.
This is one of those movies from the 80s that my dad's a huge Stallone fan.
Mhm.
And this is 100% one of the movies, along with Rocky and Rambo, that was on replay at our house. Anytime it was on cable,
You were watching
we
it.
would watch Cobra.
Awesome. So this, I'm assuming this is like a more conventional, like 80s action star driven movie, right?
Yes, there's actually a really good story that we'll get into about the making of Cobra for next episode. It is definitely interesting how the movie Cobra came about. It's the story of
Okay.
the best of Hollywood stories, drama, missed
Intrigue,
opportunities,
dick pics.
Why is Stallone doing a canon film?
Exactly.
Right? Because this isn't 90s Stallone. This is fucking 80s Stallone. So he's
Like in his prime.
yeah,
Stallone.
it's not post Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Oh no.
This is in the midst of like Rocky 3 and 4 and all the Rambo movies. Like he was still a major box office draw. So
What's the sequence? When did he do that really weird arm wrestling movie? Was that before or after this one?
Over the Top comes out after Cobra. Because
Interesting.
Over the Top is a fucking canon film.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, well that explains it. Like we've got all these like late 80s flops that lead to the famous 90s down on his Lux Stallone movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting because he does Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Rocky 4, Cobra, Over the Top, Rambo 3. Then he does a movie Lockup, which is really good, but not a lot of people have seen it. And then he does Tango and Cash, Rocky 5, and that's when his fucking career falls apart for a while.
And then he did Judge Dredd. He is the law.
Yeah. Ugh. What a shit film. I could talk about Stallone films all day long because I've probably seen a good majority of them. I think his worst one, we'll save the rest of Stallone talk for the next episode.
Yeah,
is the movie Daylight, where he plays like this cop character, and there's like a tunnel, and both ends get like blown up, and the tunnel's filling with water, so he has to get into the tunnel to save the people in the tunnel. It's like reverse cliffhanger. It's called Daylight.
Yeah.
What's it called? The tunnel. reverse cliffhanger. Instead of people falling to their death, it's their people not getting to the surface, right?
Interesting. So it's like a Poseidon adventure kind of thing where they've got to escape, or well, I guess something like this. You gotta love a good underwater thriller.
Yeah. Interesting. And since everyone else is talking about it, I think we would be remiss to give our opinion on the Will Smith Chris Rock slap.
Timely. Yeah. People are going to be listening to this episode in like 5 years. Be like, what the fuck? Who?
Exactly. And this is what I have to say about it. I want to see more celebrities fight. It's entertainment at its best.
Oh, just the trashiest of the trash.
I will never meet these people. These people might as well be fake. Bill Murray might as well be Peter Venkman to me, right? They're one and the same.
Larger than life, literally.
Exactly. You're never going to meet fucking Will Smith. And if you ever did, besides being like, oh, you were in Men in Black, I don't know him. fucking, I would pay money to see him beat the shit out of someone or get the shit kicked out of him.
Like a live celebrity death match.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Bring it on.
Wait, didn't they do that? Wasn't there like some like celebrity boxing or something? Didn't like Tanya Harding
Greg,
get in the ring with someone?
This is why we compliment each other so well, because I was going to try to segue it to it, but you fucking did it first.
Booyah.
Fox did have 2 specials, celebrity boxing. And my
Prime for a
God.
comeback.
Is celebrity boxing, like it is so loose with the word celebrity.
Oh my god. It's just
Of
like
who they
Dancing
got
with the
to fight.
Stars.
Oh yeah.
C,
was-
D tier people.
It was Danny Bonaducci, who was in the Partridge Family, was against Barry Williams from God damn it. The Full House, not Full House, Brady Bunch.
Who was he? Greg?
He was the older one. Mike? Greg?
It was Greg was the oldest. Peter was who was Peter?
The
Was Peter
youngest?
the middle one?
Yeah.
Bobby was the youngest one, I think.
Bobby was the youngest one. Peter was the middle one. Yeah. So he was the older brother. There was Todd Bridges from The Facts of Life versus Vanilla Ice. And then it was Tanya Harding
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
versus someone named Tanya Harding. And then it was Amy Fisher was supposed to fight her, but she dropped out. And then it was Paula Jones, who I don't even know who the fuck Paula Jones is. So that really
never heard of it.
exactly, who the fuck knows who Paula Jones is? And then the next celebrity boxing was Dustin Diamond, Screech, R.I.P. Screech, R.I.P. versus Ron Palillo. There was probably like a 30 years age gap. Ron Palillo was like the Screech in the 70s for Welcome Back, Kotter.
Screech versus Screech.
Essentially. Go figure that the fucking younger guy won.
Yeah, right.
Manute Bol, who was a basketball player.
Whoa.
Super
He's-
fucking tall.
Yeah, I would say he's huge.
7'7". Versus William the Fridge Perry, who was a defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears. And then Joey Buttafuoco, he was like a mobster. He had a sexual relationship with Amy Fisher, who was supposed to be in the first one. Amy Fisher's a Long Island Lolita. Really weird. He fought a woman. He fought China, the wrestler.
What?
China.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god. This my like fragmented memory of the Tanya Harding fight is not even close to the level of trashy that what you just described to me.
It's so
Wow.
weird. This was back in the day when Fox just did shit TV. They also had like the one where it was like man versus animal, and they would like pit animals and men in like a competition of like eating shit and stuff like that. It was super weird. The Fox in the 90s was insane.
God, it reminds me of like all those Simpsons gags, which now make a lot more sense, where they're like all like the stupid TV shows that they're watching. And wasn't there was one where like when animals attack, but there was one where it was like when buildings explode or something,
Yeah.
and it was just 1812 Symphony over buildings exploding, like only in real life.
That was Fox in the 90s. It was just these really high concept shows that just really went nowhere. It's number 6 in TV Guide's 50 worst shows of all time.
Oh my god, I'm on the Wikipedia page now. In under second episode, it says Weird Al Yankovic was first approached to fight China, but he did not see it as a positive career move to fight with a woman on national television.
It would have been so disappointing if he did something like that.
Oh man, wait, dodge a bullet there, my man.
I know. Weird Al does not. I don't think he needs to stoop to the levels of celebrity boxing.
No. Oh, wow. I
But
feel
there
like
you go.
this needs to be a rider on an episode in the future where we watch an episode of celebrity boxing as like a bonus feature.
I will try to find an episode of celebrity boxing. It's probably going to be on YouTube, and we'll watch it, and then we'll talk about it. 100%.
Well, yeah, we'll find an episode and we'll find a movie to pair it with that makes sense. Maybe that would make sense as an add-on to the arm wrestling movie.
100%. I mean, arm wrestling is embarrassing in and of itself. Celebrity boxing is super embarrassing.
Oh, the one of our 5 listeners who is also an arm wrestling enthusiast just stopped listening.
It's right up there with throwing fucking darts. Like darts, I think has more skill to it than arm wrestling.
I was gonna say, like, arm wrestling can throw shade on darts any day. There's way more skill involved in darts.
we're getting deep into the weeds here.
Listen to the That's Canon chuckleheads debate which sport is cooler,
Exactly.
arm wrestling or darts.
Oh, well, Greg, this was definitely what I wanted out of the entire Curse 2. Celebrity boxing, snakes, classic 70s TV shows. I got to talk about it all.
I'll say all your favorite things. We got to talk about it. So yeah, I think this is I think probably the most successful and similar movies episode that we've done.
For sure. It's weird that in similar movies we watched a fucking movie about students killing poor people, and we're like, and the similar movie is a mutant snake.
Snake. It's a stretch, folks. You're not here for, we talk about plot threads. We are plot holes. We are plot holes.
Yeah. That's our new slogan. That's canon. We are the plot hole.
We are the plot hole.
Oh man. Well, do you have anything else?
Nope. I think you put it best. I think this is a great B movie, spawned some good conversations. So definitely check it out when you want to do a bad movie night with your friends.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if you like what you're hearing, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment wherever you can. We're on YouTube at That's Canon. You can email us at thatscanon@gmail.com. You can see our ad on Shock Cinema. We are in print right now.
In print, woo!
So go ahead and pick up a copy of that at your local Barnes and Noble or wherever great magazines are sold. You can also order your copy online at shockcinema.com. I did not get paid for that ad. I gave you that one for free.
Hey, look for the ad with the chimpanzees. You can't miss it.
Exactly. We're right below the Diabolic ad.
Yeah, the Diabolic TV. Yeah, great website, great store.
Yeah, we're just chilling for everyone. Go to vinegarsyndrome.com. Order a couple movies there.
Arrow Video.
We'll advertise for everyone.
Everything's for sale, including our dignity.
Exactly. Just send us a copy of Curse 2. And remember, since we said it,
that's cursed.